With details on a star re-signing with WWE and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Talking about Swerve Strickland now being the AEW World Champion, president of the company, Tony Khan said this on Z100. I think Swerve is going to be such a great champion for AEW, a great face and representative for the company. We're very lucky to have Swerve Strickland as the AEW World Champion. I'm really excited about a lot of things happening in AEW. Addressing the possibility of London, England hosting WrestleMania 42, Triple H noted on X Spaces, the thing about the global nature of what we do, where we are, what we're doing, I look at the globe, I think everything is on the table for where it goes. You saw the mayor of London the other day put out a statement about WrestleMania. I said we should talk, and we should, as should the mayors or the leaders of every other place around this globe. If they want WWE, come talk to us. We're open for business. We'd love to be there. Wherever our fans are going to be the loudest and the craziest and the most into what we do, it would be an honor. When it comes to the location for next year's WrestleMania event, Ringside News wrote that WrestleMania 40 made an unforgettable impact in WWE history, sparking anticipation for next year's spectacle, WrestleMania 41. While the location for next year's extravaganza remains unconfirmed, Las Vegas and Minneapolis have emerged as the primary contenders. The ongoing negotiations with both cities have led to a delay in the formal announcement of WrestleMania 41's venue. Moreover, a recent report suggested that the likelihood of Minneapolis hosting WrestleMania 41 is diminishing, with Las Vegas emerging as the stronger contender. Following multiple reports, WWE CCO Paul Triple H Levesque, in a recent interview with X Spaces, added fuel to the speculations that the formal announcement for the location of WrestleMania 41 is coming very, very soon. Despite Las Vegas being the frontrunner for WrestleMania next year, Minnesota is not entirely ruled out. Furthermore, WWE is eager to make the announcement promptly, indicating Las Vegas's growing favor as the preferred location, and with Triple H teasing it further, the anticipation must have grown even further. Also, Triple H noted that women will be participating in the WWE Speed matches on X, as he said it comes from short-form content. If we could take that feeling out process that talent have in the ring with each other and just have them go for broke right when the bell rings because they only have 3 minutes to get the job done. It makes for an exciting challenge for the guys. It makes for an exciting challenge for eventually what will be the women as well. So far, it's been spectacular. The talent have really embraced this and have gotten into the challenge of it. It's been exciting for them and our fans as well. Talking about the Elite assaulting Tony Khan on Dynamite last week, Don Callis said this on the Battleground podcast. The Young Bucks, who to me have been the most obsequious, annoying punks that I've ever been around in professional wrestling, they're finally doing now what I encouraged them to do 3 years ago. Use the EVP titles for your own benefit. They finally figured it out. They're not that smart. If you were smart, you wouldn't live in a place like Rancho Cucamonga in a compound. Who wants their family around them all the time? It's terrible. People say you can't choose your family. I've chosen mine because the one you get saddled with at birth is not always the one that works out for you. So what I will say is they have attacked Tony Khan, which to me was quite shocking. You want to talk about the golden goose. Tony's the reason we're all here. I don't always see eye to eye with Tony, but Tony's the man in terms of us all having a place to ply our trade. I'm a big NFL draft junkie, and I was hunkered down for 4 straight hours, 5 hours, watching the NFL draft. I have to say, I was pretty impressed with Tony Khan showing up at that that thing, neck brace on, whatever. Tony might not be 7 feet tall and 400 pounds, but boy, I'll tell you, the kid's got a set of balls on him. So I got a new respect for Tony Khan, seeing him step in, doing that deal at the draft. Great to see him and his father there. In that same interview, Don Callis reacted to Kenny Omega being set to return on Dynamite, saying, "Well, here's the thing with Kenny Omega. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth. When I managed Kenny Omega, I used to say Kenny is like managing Michael Jackson. Probably back in the day. Kenny, I would compare him to Michael Jackson because they're both geniuses. They're both creative geniuses. They both did things that no one else had ever done in the entertainment, or in Kenny's case, in the sports field. But like with Michael Jackson, some days he'd write Billie Jean, other days Bubbles the Chimp crapped on the floor and someone had to clean it up. That was my life with Kenny Omega for a very long time. So I have no idea what he's going to say. I hope he's going to apologize publicly to me. I hope he's going to acknowledge that all the success he had in the wrestling business is because of me. The nice thing is his parents get to attend the show. They've got a van for them. They're going to pick them up at the home and bring them down to the show. I think that's great. Recalling an interesting story regarding the late great Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan told the 700 Club, "In the wrestling business for 25 years, we couldn't stand each other. We were at each other's throats. I know it is predetermined and all that, but he did not like me and I did not like him. That's just how it was. Once we got older and we had some conversations, we started talking. He started asking about my spirituality. He didn't connect, but he was very curious. He wouldn't surrender. All of a sudden, he passes away." There was an A&E special about Roddy Piper. When they go to credits, there is a message. It was not a text message, it was a voice message. But this text message came in 2 days after he died, and the message goes, "I'm just loving you, my brother, just walking with Jesus and loving you, my brother." I was like, he would have never said that when he was here. It is amazing how things work. Giving an update on his health, Taz wrote this on X. "Went to a highly acclaimed orthopedic surgeon yesterday to discuss my knee. It's been brutal for a couple of years. He did testing and x-rays on me. So both of my shoulders and knees need to be replaced. For joints, I am not doing this right now. I'm going to keep trying regenerative procedures and try to suck it up dealing with the pain. This is not from bumps, it's from training too heavy like a caveman trying to be big. I'm posting this for today's wrestlers. Please be smarter. Times have changed for the better." In a legal update on AEW star Cash Wheeler, Ringside News wrote that AEW made headlines last year after Cash Wheeler got arrested on aggravated assault with a firearm. Now it appears the date has been set for Cash Wheeler's pre-trial hearing in the firearms case. The arrest stemmed from a serious charge of aggravated assault involving a firearm, an incident that transpired back on July 28th. The alleged victim claimed Cash Wheeler brandished a firearm and threatened him. A warrant for Wheeler's arrest was issued the following day. It was further reported that Wheeler pleaded not guilty via his attorney on August 3rd. He was subsequently released on $2,500 bond and was required to relinquish all of his firearms to the authorities. Ringside News exclusively reported that he was officially facing charges for the same. According to the court documents obtained by PW Insider, Cash Wheeler has a pre-trial hearing scheduled for May 7th where he must appear. This hearing is part of the legal process leading up to Wheeler's trial, which is set to begin on May 20th. AEW star Daniel Cash Wheeler is slated to stand trial on May 20th before Orange County Court in Florida on charge of aggravated assault with a firearm, a third-degree felony in the Sunshine State. There will be a pre-trial hearing set for Tuesday, May 7th. Wheeler must appear at the hearing. The pre-trial hearing serves as an opportunity for both parties to discuss and finalize any details ahead of the trial. It's a critical step in the legal process, allowing the court to address any preliminary issues and set the groundwork for the actual trial. In a video posted to X, former head of WWE, Vince McMahon, can be seen entering a restaurant as he is using a cane to help him walk.
Can you do it on the other side, man?
Could you stop ruining every moment that we share together? Jesus Christ.
Maybe he doesn't want to be filmed.
Yes, that's why you didn't do from a distance, genius.
Mentioning the fact that he has signed a new deal with WWE, Drew McIntyre told the Pat McAfee show, at the top, there are a lot of things going on, a lot of opportunities if you get to the top. I've been to the top, and whatever people are trying to stop me getting to the top, it's not going to happen. If you try to politic your way ahead of me, I'll just beat you down and I'll get myself ahead of you. I'm too big and wise, and that's why I'm staying with WWE for the foreseeable future. I wasn't going to go anywhere. If anyone was unsure reading those internet rumors, we were just in a place where I just had to get things right with my family. I got with Nick Khan and Triple H. They were so understanding. Drew McIntyre is never going to leave WWE, and it's awesome The Rock made that announcement. It's the first time he ever did that for any WWE superstar. Touching on the idea of players from the Jacksonville Jaguars making the move to AEW and transitioning into pro wrestling, Tony Khan said this to TMZ Sports. I would love that. I think that's a great thing. I know some of the Jaguars players were very upset about what happened to me. That's something to keep an eye on too. The Jaguars players follow AEW really closely. A lot of the NFL players follow it. Every week on the road, people come up to me, all kinds of people, whether it's the opposing coaches, opposing players, security at the stadium, the people in concessions. Every week in the NFL, whether it's in Jacksonville or on the road, people always come up and talk about AEW. It's one of those things that really amazed my dad. He was not a big wrestling fan coming into this, and he's become a fan of AEW and enjoys watching it. When it comes to the reaction for Natalya and Lola Vice's main event match on NXT, which was an underground bout, it was said that Natalya versus Lola Vice got a standing ovation as they returned to the backstage area. Sean Ross Sapp has learned. Explaining why Kenny Omega returned to AEW Dynamite in Winnipeg, Fightful Select reported Omega will be appearing on the program and was added to the show to increase ticket sales, among other things. Criticizing Ronda Rousey, who has been negative in regards to her time with WWE, Jonathan Coachman told Behind the Turnbuckle podcast she recently touched on Logan Paul and said, and this is what drives me insane about certain competitors when they blame other things and blame other people. She said this, Tommy, and I want your reaction to it. If I had the preparation time, and I'm paraphrasing, if I had the ability to have the research and the company behind me and all the time to prepare my matches, because I had a great first match, because I had that time, then I could have done more great things also. You couple that with Becky Lynch saying she could never wrestle. That first big match was her downfall because everybody expected that. Seeing all of these quotes and the way that it seems like to me she hasn't taken ownership of anything during her time in the WWE. And that's a little bit frustrating because I didn't see her one time when I was there, not once, walk out to the ring, work out during the day, put in the time when she had all the time in the world. So I don't buy the passing the buck, do you? Revealing how those behind the scenes in UFC felt about Ronda Rousey, former commentator for UFC and WWE, Jimmy Smith, said this on Unlocking the Cage. I've never been a religious person. One of the things I've always said about God, he gets all the credit, none of the blame. That's what Ronda Rousey wants. All the credit, none of the blame. I want credit for all my wins, my losses, I had CTE and all this and all that. I'm the greatest to ever do it, but when it didn't work, it was so and so and so and so show and never me. She never gives credit to the people who actually beat her. The idea that I left MMA and went to the WWE because I had concussion problems makes no sense. I don't talk about things out of school. I don't talk about things out of school, do I? Behind the scenes in WWE, behind the scenes in UFC, I don't do that, right? Kind of a personal rule. Let me let you in on something. Ronda, if you were listening, the people behind the scenes, camera people, audio people, the people you can push around and the people you can bully and the people you can talk down to, can't stand your ass. Everybody behind the scenes that had to put a mic on Ronda Rousey couldn't stand her. As it was said by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer that WWE President Nick Khan was planning to sell all of his shares in TKO Group Holdings, it appears this was false. With Ringside News writing, WWE has undergone quite a few changes over the past couple of years, especially after Triple H took over as head of creative and Nick Khan became president. Rumors spread that Nick Khan was selling TKO shares, and now McAfee has shut down these rumors. Last week, confusion arose following a Sportico report suggesting that Nick Khan and Vince McMahon were putting the remaining TKO shares up for sale. It was reported that Nick Khan had registered to sell 234,424 shares of TKO, equivalent to $23 million. While speaking on the Pat McAfee show, Pat McAfee addressed rumors circulating on the internet suggesting that WWE executive Nick Khan was selling stocks and shares. McAfee, after consulting with reliable sources, firmly debunked these rumors. He clarified that Khan has not sold any shares of WWE stock since joining the company, nor has he even listed any for sale, indicating that the rumors were entirely baseless. McAfee emphasized that the process of selling stocks involves several steps, none of which Nick Khan had taken. He described the rumors as a bunch of BS, pointing out that they lacked any factual basis. There were some internet rumors about him too, selling stocks and shares about that. After talking to sources, I can report that it's not true. He has not sold a single share of any stock since going to WWE. He hasn't even put them up for sale, which is an entire process to do that, so it's a bunch of BS. We had also reported that Nick Khan was not leaving WWE. Nevertheless, the president of WWE is here to stay for the long run and continue to help the company grow in many ways, and that is all that matters. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics said this on X: I don't at all see Nick Khan listing all his shares for sale as some kind of omen, despite flailing online about it. All of his shares, as well as all of Vince McMahon's shares, have been listed since September. Suddenly, attention is being paid for confused reasons. Vince has made sales. There are no records of Nick making sales yet, which would be required due to him being a board member. Filings for all of Nick Khan's stock transactions, none of which are sales. If you're thinking about if or when Nick might leave WWE, your focus should be more on the fact that his 5-year employment contract expires in August of 2025. Nick Khan's employment agreement, which has been public since he joined WWE in 2020, though this is the amended 2022 version, related to his TKO stock, his employment contract promises him millions of dollars in equity, some of which already vested, $16.5 million of which won't vest until September 30th, 2025. See Section 3F. Additionally, his contract says some of his compensation is paid in stock based on performance. In other words, even if he sold every share he could as soon as possible, he would still have a significant and direct financial interest in the performance of TKO shares due to performance compensation and millions in shares that won't vest until after his current employment term expires. The filing from yesterday, April 12th, doesn't set a time frame within which the shares will be sold, nor does it say for certain that any or all listed shares will be sold. Realistically, it seems very likely many, maybe all, of his shares will eventually be sold in the medium to long term. I expect we'll see 10B-5 forms and definitely Form 4s recording his transactions. Filing from yesterday, page 24. Preliminary filing with the same info from April 12th, page 24. Questions should be raised about Nick Khan's knowledge of the relationship between Vince McMahon and Janelle Grant, Grant and about what WWE is doing to prevent sexual misconduct in the workplace, which have barely been answered. And it's true, Grant is referring to Nick Khan in her complaint when she references WWE Corporate Officer Number 1, but this discussion about his stock I don't think is meaningfully related to his future with WWE. Tweet less, read boring documents more. If Pat McAfee can pour through SEC filings, which definitely maybe he did, so can you. Following rumors and speculation that Erick Rowan had signed with WWE, Ringside News wrote that a seasoned warrior of the wrestling arena is poised to make a triumphant comeback to the WWE stage. According to PW Insider, Erick Rowan has officially inked a new deal with WWE. This comes as exciting news for fans who remember Rowan as a pivotal member of the Wyatt family and a former multi-time tag team champion within the company. Following his departure from WWE in 2020, Rowan ventured into various endeavors, including notable appearances in AEW and a memorable cameo in the popular comedy series I Think You Should Leave on Netflix. Despite these ventures, Rowan's allegiance to the Squared Circle has brought him back into the WWE fold. While details regarding his return timeline remain undisclosed, anticipation mounts as fans eagerly await his comeback. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.